The alien queen, a figure of immense power and respect in her galaxy, was captured. Known for her leadership and advanced technology, she had never imagined herself falling into the hands of others. Her ship, once a symbol of fear, was now a twisted wreck on the outskirts of the Milky Way. The queen's captors were from a rival alien faction, hungry for revenge and control. They had taken her prisoner, and more surprisingly, brought her to a planet they considered primitive and insignificant: Earth. The alien vessel landed quietly in a remote part of the planet. The atmosphere was thick and strange to the queen, but she remained composed. She had faced many challenges in her life, and this was just another. However, the sheer simplicity of the planet's surface was baffling. The air was filled with the scent of damp earth and something else she couldn't place. The trees and grass seemed ordinary, yet they were alien to her. The queen was escorted from the ship, her restraints glowing with unfamiliar energy. She was placed in a containment unit designed to hold beings with powers like hers. The humans, with their limited technology, had managed to construct something that seemed simple but was surprisingly effective. The queen, trapped in her cell, had the chance to observe the humans up close for the first time. The humans were fascinated by her. They whispered among themselves, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and curiosity. The queen noticed their small, primitive devices, gadgets that seemed rudimentary compared to her own advanced equipment. Yet, despite their simple tools, the humans moved with purpose and efficiency. They seemed eager to study her, their actions a mixture of awe and disbelief. She overheard some of their conversations. Words like alien and advanced were repeated often. The humans had clearly underestimated her, assuming that her advanced technology made her invincible. They had no idea of her true strength, nor did they grasp the depths of her capabilities. The queen's thoughts were interrupted by a sudden commotion. A group of humans entered her containment area, carrying a small device. They spoke in a language she didn't understand, but their intent was clear. They were about to conduct an experiment. The device emitted a series of beeps and whirs, scanning her with a low-frequency beam. She could feel the vibrations, but they did not cause her harm. The queen remained silent, studying her captors. She could tell they were nervous, their hands trembling slightly as they operated the device. Their attempts to understand her seemed clumsy and uncertain. They had prepared for her advanced technology, but their preparation was incomplete. This gap in their knowledge gave her hope. If she played her cards right, she might find a way to escape. As the days passed, the queen grew increasingly impatient. She could feel the constraints of her confinement, but she knew she had to stay calm. Every now and then, a few humans would come in, bringing food or conducting tests. They seemed to be learning more about her, but their methods were slow and inefficient. The queen watched as they struggled with their technology. They fumbled with tools and machinery, their faces a mix of frustration and determination. It was clear they were trying hard to understand her, but their efforts were often futile. She admired their perseverance, even as she found their methods archaic. One day, as the queen rested, she noticed a new figure among her observers. He was different from the others, a former soldier who had become an outcast. His eyes were sharp and his movements were precise. He seemed to possess a quiet strength that set him apart. The queen could sense that he might be the key to her escape. The soldier's gaze met hers briefly, and for a moment she saw something in his eyes, a hint of understanding, perhaps even sympathy. This brief encounter sparked a new hope within her. The queen knew that if she was to escape, she needed to gain this soldier's favor. As the days turned into weeks, the queen continued to plot her escape, studying her surroundings and observing the humans. She knew it would take time, but she was determined. She had faced many challenges in her life, and this would be no different. With the soldier's help, she believed that freedom was within reach. The alien queen's capture was just the beginning of an unexpected journey. Little did she know, a human from this primitive world would play a crucial role in her fate. The alien queen sat in her containment unit, a high-tech cell designed by humans who still saw themselves as primitive. From her vantage point, the world outside seemed ordinary and unimpressive. The trees and sky were simple compared to the galaxies she had traversed. The technology around her, though advanced in its own way, was primitive compared to what she was used to. The queen found herself grappling with the strange contrast between her advanced existence and the seemingly mundane world she was now trapped in. Her captors, human scientists, visited her regularly. They were a mix of curious and cautious, their fascination evident in their wide eyes and whispered conversations. They used basic tools to monitor her, their actions meticulous but far from perfect. Every day, they brought in new gadgets and tried to understand her advanced physiology and technology. Yet their efforts often fell short, revealing more about their limitations than her strengths. The Queen could see their frustration as they tried to make sense of her advanced technology. They fiddled with scanners and readouts, their tools often failing to interpret the data accurately. Despite their sophisticated machinery, they seemed to be guessing rather than truly understanding. It was clear to her that their technology, while impressive in its own right, was no match for the sophisticated systems she was used to. One day, as the Queen observed from her cell, a new kind of activity caught her attention. A group of humans, including the soldiers she had noticed before, were working together in a nearby lab. They were focused on a large, bulky device that seemed to be a mix of various technologies. The Queen could see the soldier's skilled hands manipulating the controls with precision, his actions deliberate and careful. The device, though crude compared to her own technology, seemed to be their best attempt at deciphering her presence. The soldier was different from the others. He moved with purpose and efficiency, his demeanor calm and confident. The Queen observed him closely, noting the way he interacted with the scientists and the equipment. He seemed to be the only one who understood the gravity of the situation, and his focus suggested he had a hidden depth of knowledge. As days turned into weeks, the Queen's situation remained unchanged, but her observations grew more detailed. She noticed how the humans adapted to her presence. They began to treat her with a mix of respect and caution, recognizing that their primitive methods were not enough to fully comprehend her. Their efforts to communicate with her were limited, relying on basic gestures and simple words. It was clear they were trying their best, but their limitations were evident. One afternoon, while the soldier was working on a new piece of equipment, the Queen saw an opportunity. He was alone, his attention focused on the device. The Queen decided to test the waters, using subtle gestures and expressions to gauge his reaction. She had learned that humans could be surprisingly perceptive when given the right signals. The soldier glanced up, meeting her eyes. There was a moment of silence, a brief connection between them. The Queen saw a flicker of understanding in his gaze. He seemed to grasp that she was more than just a captive. She was a being of significance. This realization was encouraging. If anyone could help her escape, it might be this soldier. As the days continued, the Queen remained patient, carefully analyzing her environment and the humans around her. She began to appreciate the complexities of their world, despite its apparent simplicity. The soldier's presence was a beacon of hope. She knew that if she could gain his trust and cooperation, her chances of escaping would improve. The Queen's perspective on the human world began to shift. She saw beyond the primitive exterior and recognized the potential and determination within its inhabitants. The soldier, in particular, represented a glimmer of hope in her bleak situation. If the humans could bridge the gap between their world and hers, the Queen knew that she might find a way to regain her freedom. The alien Queen's confinement in the primitive world was more than just a physical imprisonment. It was a journey of discovery, both of the humans and herself. In this strange and simple world, she found unexpected opportunities and a chance to reevaluate her own understanding of power and resilience. In the dimly lit confines of the containment unit, the alien Queen felt a sense of growing anticipation. Each day she spent in captivity brought new insights into her captor's ways. Though Earth seemed primitive, its inhabitants were proving to be more complex than she initially thought. Among them, one figure stood out, the ex-soldier she had observed from afar. His presence, quiet and purposeful, intrigued her. The soldier, named Jack, had once been a high-ranking military officer. He had fought in battles, seen conflict, and lived through hardship. Now he was living a quiet life, far removed from his past. But when the Queen's situation came to his attention, something stirred within him. He recognized the gravity of her situation and the potential danger she faced. Unlike his colleagues, who saw the Queen as a mere specimen, Jack saw her as a being in need of help. Jack had been monitoring the situation closely. He had noticed the flaws in the security system and the inconsistencies in the humans' efforts to understand the Queen. His military training had taught him to observe, analyze, and act decisively. He realized that the Queen was more than just an advanced alien. She was a key to something greater, something worth fighting for. One evening, when the facility was quieter than usual, Jack decided to take action. He had been preparing for this moment for weeks, gathering information and studying the layout of the facility. He knew the risks were high, but his determination was stronger. The soldiers and scientists were focused on their tasks, leaving gaps in their security protocols. Jack seized this opportunity. He approached the containment unit with a mix of caution and resolve. His movements were careful, avoiding the security cameras and sensors. Jack had acquired a set of tools, basic yet effective, that he planned to use to bypass the unit's controls. The device he carried was an old military gadget, repurposed for his current mission. It was a simple tool, but capable of creating a small, controlled power surge. As Jack worked on the control panel, he could feel the tension building. He glanced toward the Queen's cell, catching her eye. The Queen watched with a mix of curiosity and hope. She had sensed that Jack was different from the others, and now saw him as her best chance for freedom. With a few deft movements, Jack managed to override the containment unit's security system. The door hissed open, and the Queen stepped out, her eyes reflecting a mixture of gratitude and surprise. Jack's heart raced, but he remained focused. He gestured for her to follow him, leading her through the labyrinthine corridors of the facility. The Queen moved quickly, her advanced senses alert to any signs of danger. Jack guided her through the facility's less secure areas, using his knowledge of the layout to avoid detection. The facility's primitive security measures were no match for Jack's skill and determination. As they navigated the dark hallways, the Queen felt a growing sense of trust in Jack. His actions were precise and confident, and his ability to bypass the security systems was impressive. She began to understand that Jack's quiet demeanor masked a strong will and a deep sense of purpose. The escape was not without its challenges. They encountered a few guards along the way, and Jack had to use his combat skills to neutralize them quickly and quietly. The Queen watched with admiration as Jack fought with efficiency and strength. It was clear that he was a warrior at heart, and his skills were a crucial asset to their escape. Finally, they reached the outer perimeter of the facility. Jack had prepared an old vehicle, a relic of his military past, hidden away for just this purpose. He and the Queen climbed inside, and Jack started the engine. The vehicle roared to life, and they sped away from the facility, leaving behind the high-tech prison that had held the Queen captive. As they drove through the night, the Queen looked at Jack with newfound respect. He had risked everything to help her, proving that even in a world she had once thought of as primitive, there were individuals of extraordinary character. Jack's bravery and resourcefulness had turned the tide, and the Queen knew that their journey was far from over. In the end, the unexpected rescuer had not only freed the alien Queen, but also changed her perception of Earth and its inhabitants. The bond formed between them was a testament to the strength and courage that could arise from the most unlikely places. The night was thick with tension as Jack and the alien Queen sped away from the facility. The vehicle, an old military transport, rumbled through the darkness, its headlights cutting through the shadows of the dense forest. The Queen sat beside Jack, her eyes scanning the surroundings with a mix of relief and anxiety. She had been freed, but the journey to true safety was far from over. Jack had planned this escape meticulously, but he knew that their troubles were far from finished. The facility's alarm system had likely been triggered by their departure, and it wouldn't be long before pursuit teams were on their trail. As he navigated the rough terrain, he kept a keen eye on the rearview mirror, watching for any signs of pursuit. The Queen glanced at Jack, impressed by his calm demeanor. His skill in handling the vehicle and navigating through the wilderness was remarkable. She had seen many different worlds and civilizations, but this was a side of humanity she had never expected. Jack's bravery and resourcefulness were proving to be invaluable. "We have to get to a secure location," Jack said, his voice steady despite the urgency of the situation. "There's a safe house not far from here. It's well hidden and should give us time to regroup." The Queen nodded, her expression resolute. She had come to trust Jack and his judgment, and she was determined to see their escape through to the end. The vehicle jolted over uneven ground, and she held on tightly, bracing herself against the rough ride. After what seemed like hours of driving, they reached the outskirts of the safe house, a small, secluded cabin hidden deep in the forest. Jack carefully maneuvered the vehicle into a concealed area behind the cabin, making sure they weren't visible from the main road. The Queen stepped out, stretching her legs after the long ride. The safe house was modest but functional. It had been built to withstand various threats and provided a stronghold in case of emergencies. Jack led the Queen inside, locking the doors and drawing the blinds to keep them hidden from any prying eyes. The cabin was equipped with basic supplies and communication tools, a testament to Jack's preparedness. Once inside, Jack and the Queen quickly assessed their situation. They needed to contact the outside world and make a plan for their next move. Jack used an old radio transmitter to try and reach his contacts, but the signal was weak. They had to rely on their own wits and resources to stay ahead of their pursuers. The Queen, meanwhile, took a moment to examine her surroundings. Despite the cabin's simplicity, it was clear that Jack had put thought into its design. The walls were reinforced and the windows were equipped with strong shutters. It was a fortress in its own right, offering a temporary refuge from their enemies. As they worked, the Queen and Jack discussed their next steps. The Queen revealed that she had a network of allies across the galaxy who could assist them once they were out of immediate danger. Jack listened carefully, taking notes on the information she provided. They needed to coordinate their efforts and use every resource at their disposal to ensure their safety, their senses alert for any sign of danger. The quiet of the forest was a welcome change from the chaos they had left behind, but they knew they couldn't afford to let their guard down. As dawn approached, Jack finally managed to establish a weak connection with one of his old contacts. The conversation was brief, but promising. Help was on the way, and they would be able to leave the safe house soon. The Queen felt a sense of relief, knowing that their escape plan was coming together. With renewed hope, the Queen and Jack prepared for their departure. Hours passed, and the cabin remained quiet. The Queen and Jack took turns keeping watch. They packed essential supplies and made sure the safe house was secured before leaving. The escape had been fraught with challenges, but their determination and teamwork had seen them through. The Queen looked at Jack with gratitude. His bravery and resourcefulness had been crucial in their escape, and she knew that their journey was far from over. Together, they had faced great danger and emerged victorious. As they left the safe house behind, they were ready to face whatever lay ahead, knowing that their alliance had made them stronger than ever. The sun was rising over the horizon as Jack and the alien Queen emerged from the forest. Their journey had taken them far from the facility, and they were finally approaching a new chapter in their escape. With the safe house behind them, they were heading toward a location where they could regroup and plan their next move. The Queen felt a mix of relief and anticipation. Her time on Earth had been full of surprises, and her perception of this primitive world had changed dramatically. As they traveled, Jack and the Queen discussed their experiences and insights. The Queen shared her thoughts on human resilience and ingenuity, which had impressed her. Jack, in turn, revealed more about Earth and its inhabitants, giving the Queen a deeper understanding of the planet she had once considered insignificant. "The humans I've met are different from what I expected," the Queen said, her voice reflective. "Your world may seem primitive in comparison to my own, but there is a strength here that is undeniable. I have learned much from this experience." Jack nodded, appreciating the Queen's words. "And I've learned a lot from you, too. Your perspective on things has opened my eyes. Sometimes we can get so caught up in our own world that we forget how vast and varied the universe is." They reached a small, secure base where Jack's contacts awaited. The base was equipped with advanced technology and provided a safe haven where they could rest and regroup. As they entered the base, the Queen was struck by the contrast between the primitive world outside and the sophisticated technology within. It was a reminder of the vastness of human potential. Jack introduced the Queen to his allies, a group of trusted individuals who had been working with him for years. They were curious about her, but treated her with respect, understanding the significance of her presence. The Queen was impressed by their efficiency and professionalism, further changing her view of humanity. The base provided a chance for the Queen to contact her allies across the galaxy. The communication was swift, and plans were set in motion to ensure her safe return to her home world. While the immediate danger had passed, the Queen knew that her journey had given her valuable insights. One evening, as they sat together in the base's lounge, the Queen and Jack reflected on their adventure. The Queen was grateful for Jack's bravery and resourcefulness, which had played a crucial role in her escape. Jack, in turn, had gained a newfound appreciation for the complexity and strength of the alien world. "I never expected to form such a bond with someone from another world," Jack said, his voice filled with sincerity. "But our experiences together have shown me that even in the most unlikely places, we can find allies and friends." The Queen smiled, a rare expression of warmth on her face. "And I have learned that even in the most unexpected places, there is wisdom and strength. Earth may be primitive compared to my world, but it is full of remarkable individuals." As the days passed, the Queen and Jack continued to work together, finalizing the plans for her return and ensuring that the base was secure. Their partnership had become a symbol of the unexpected connections that could be formed across the universe. They had faced danger, overcome challenges, and emerged with a deeper understanding of each other and their worlds. When the time came for the Queen to leave Earth, there was a sense of bittersweet farewell. She and Jack had formed a unique bond, one that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. The Queen knew that she would carry the lessons she had learned on Earth with her, and Jack would remember the courage and resilience of the alien he had helped. As the Queen's ship prepared to depart, she looked back at Earth one last time. The planet, once seen as primitive, had become a place of growth and discovery. She had learned that every world, no matter how different, had its own strengths and beauty. Jack watched the ship ascend, knowing that their paths had crossed for a reason. The Queen's departure marked the end of their immediate adventure, but their newfound understanding and respect for each other would remain. The Queen's journey had led her to a new understanding of humanity, and Jack had gained a deeper appreciation for the complexities of the universe. Their story was a testament to the power of unexpected connections and the possibilities that arise when different worlds come together.